when it comes to estrogen, one thing that can happen over time is we get fuzzy, we get forgetful. We actually have a fuzzy brain. And I will talk to a lot of ladies who go, I'm forgetting things. And, people think I'm crazy. And I go, no, it's your hormones.
Thank you everyone for tuning into Azi Talk Show channel. My name is Azi Monjezi, your host today. And anything we talk about today on this channel is strictly our experiences and talking to professionals about different situations and different things about holistic lifestyle. If you are taking medication, please talk to your doctor to make any changes to your lifestyle before you do so. I know we're intimidating and we're awesome, but please talk to your doctor first. We have an incredible guest today. Her name is Genevieve, and I like to call her Jenny. Please introduce yourself.
Absolutely. I'm Genevieve, or Jenny Wisdom. I love holistic lifestyle, health, and aging. And the number one thing that I love is hormones, which is why I think Azi and I have some conversations.
We have lots of things in common.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming to our show today.
Of course, thank you.
So our today's topic is going to be about hormones, the 5 main hormones. And because I cannot spell one of them, I'm going to let her tell you all about the hormones. So what are we going to talk about today?
Well, we're going to talk about hormones and beauty. Beauty doesn't just define us women, it's also for the men. As we get older, hormones affect many things in the body. How we think, or mood, or body shape, and what we look like, or skin, where we put weight on, body density. There's so many different things, and hormones is such a big topic. What we're going to do is talk about it maybe in a way that people haven't heard about it before, and maybe some common things, and just make it really simple. What I do is I'm a nutrition counselor, and I take the complicated, I make it simple, and that's what we're going to do about beauty, hormones, mood, aging, all of that.
I love it. And what kind of hormones? What are the name of the main, let's say, 5 hormones that everybody has to be aware of in order to get a better life, better skin, better everything?
Of course. I'll do them one at a time, because then that way we can kind of focus on one and we don't get confused going, well, was that one for skin tightening or so on? So the first one I want to talk about for us girls is estrogen.
Wow.
There are actually 4 types of estrogens, but seeing that we're going to make this fun, it's not really classroom time, I am just going to go to the fun part and talk about how it affects our aging and our beauty. So 4 types of estrogen. One that's very common is estradiol, and that's what we have when we're young, when we're cycling. We have the most of that one. There's another one called estriol, which is all there. They have an interplay. The thing that we need to know about hormones is one hormone works and affects the other. They work in very fine, it's called homeostasis, which is a fancy word for balance. Yeah. Hormones have to be in balance and homeostasis. Yeah. When we're younger, the body does it well with all the different types of hormones. As we get older, we just don't produce enough, and that dance, I like to call it that hormonal dance.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, I do. Do you want me to show you some of my hormonal dance? Right?
But that hormonal dance, as we get older, for many different reasons, it comes out of the normal balances that it should be to help us have that young, dewy skin or libido or memory. So estrogen, for instance, something that is very real is that it can affect women, especially because estrogen is the major hormone that we have when it comes to, of course, making children, etc.
Yeah, and being feminine, right?
And
your curves,
being
your
feminine.
breasts,
Absolutely.
your waist, everything, right? Your voice, everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Estrogen really makes us female.
Yeah.
And when it comes to estrogen, one thing that can happen over time is we get fuzzy, we get forgetful. We actually have a fuzzy brain. And I will talk to a lot of ladies who go, I'm forgetting things. And, people think I'm crazy. And I go, no, it's your hormones. And yeah.
And the funny thing is, people think, a lot of viewers, I'm sure out there, you think when you say the word hormone, they're like, oh, you're old. But hormone is not being old. Yeah, of course, when you get older, you do need more maintenance, right? Because a lot of hormones drop. But a lot of viewers don't know that hormones affect you all your life.
Absolutely.
Especially actually in your teenage time too, right?
Absolutely. Hormones, it's the endocrine system that makes hormones. And hormones, they're made all over the body. There are many different types of hormones. And we're focusing mainly on the steroid hormones that have to do with sex, skin, aging. Those are the ones that we're focusing on. But absolutely, Azi, hormones make us from how we think, from whether children, sometimes if they have racing thoughts, that has to do with maybe a hormone imbalance. And so many of the things that are mentioned from we're very young, from babies, has to do with hormones. So it's not just when we're aging. How it affects us when we're aging and why we want to get it back in balance and why we'll talk about some things to do to get our hormones replaced is we get tired faster.
Fatigue, lots of fatigue,
Lots
right?
of fatigue.
Yeah, I hear that among teenagers so much because I have a teenager too. So I hear that so much. And anxiety.
Absolutely. It affects all of that. And hormones affect the brain. Hormones affect feel-good hormones in the brain. For instance, one of the other hormones that we will be talking about a little bit, it's called pregnenolone. Long word, pregnenolone. Yeah. Well, pregnenolone actually affects cortisol, which is a stress hormone. So when a teenager, for instance, would say that they're stressed out or they're feeling tired or so on, it's cortisol levels sometimes that there's a problem with. So you're absolutely right. Hormones, it's not just when you're aging. How it comes into play when we're aging is that we don't make enough usually. By the way, for pregnenolone, especially, but really all the hormones, kind of the benchmark that specialists have said is age 30. It really starts to deplete from age 30. By age 55, another hormone that we'll mention, which is HGH, human growth hormone.
Yeah.
By 55, we have 1/3 of that amount in our body.
Oh, wow. So it drops dramatically,
It drops
right?
dramatically. It drops dramatically over time. And so that's why it's important as we get older to have a test. We can get a hormone panel test. I always say that because there's so much information out there. How is it for you? How is your hormone? We'll get a test.
Yeah, I think it's so important to do your test, especially after, I think, in my opinion, you're the professional, of course, but I think after age 25 even is good, especially with the lifestyles that we live in right now. We are more anxious than ever. We are on our phones more than ever. So our bodies are not into balance anymore, right? So I say to my viewers, start doing checkup on yourself at least one time a year after age 25, 30, just to see where everything is standing, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And Azi, not only are you beautiful, you're brilliant.
Oh, thank you. Oh my God, I feel so special today.
You are special. No, because it's very true, because I have done many things, and my background is I have a background in applied sciences, but I went into the natural health field and then I went into integrative medicine. And what I like about that is we talk about you try and prevent first. Sometimes accidents happen and things are inevitable, but you do the best you can to prevent first. And that's exactly what we say, Azi. What you want to do, it's called getting benchmarks. So if you're testing your hormones at 25, you see, what is my normal for me. Because as much as we're alike, to your viewers, as much as we're alike, we're different. And so they have the ranges that's normal for hormones, but you want to find out, what is my normal range?
Exactly.
And then, so very smart, if you're testing at 25 and 30, when things start going down, you have something to refer back to. And then that is also going to help in the long run when it comes to hormone replacement. When you choose to do it, we obviously believe in doing it very naturally and so on. You have benchmark. Now you've had your life, 25, 30, 35, and then testing once a year because things change very quickly over the space of a year, doesn't it, Azi?
Oh my God, it changes within minutes.
It's true. It's true, absolutely.
Yeah, because other factors in life like stress, bad eating habits, weight loss, weight gain, changes in life, divorce, meeting somebody, like everything changes in life. And according to that, I believe the hormones changes too.
Absolutely.
And then your perspective of life changes, your action changes. So I think hormones are a huge part of life. People don't even realize. I didn't even know a couple of years ago. I went to my naturopath and I was like, I feel like something is wrong with me. I'm not thinking straight. I forget things.
We said that.
Yeah, and I was a few years younger than now, right? Yes. And I was like, I feel like something is wrong, but it's not correct because this is not me. I'm usually sharp. I remember things. What's happening to me? And we did the hormone test, and he's like, welcome to the hormone world.
Yes,
yeah.
of course.
So it's important to be on top of it.
Of course, it really is. And so my foundational studies is in applied sciences. I did a triple concentration in kinesiology, gerontology, and psychology, so I got to know the body. Then I did a nutrition adjunct. Like you said, nutrition is so imperative as to how it affects hormones. And as you said about going to your doctor and then testing and finding out where you were, then you can do certain things to help to bring that back into the normal balance to make you just that bright, normal Azi again.
Right? Oh my God.
Azi again.
Thank you so much. Oh my God. Yeah. Hashtag be cute Azi. I just created one.
Love it.
You're cute Azi.
I love it.
But it's so true. It's important to find yourself, connect to yourself, and see your body as a whole, because a lot of people see everything as symptomatic just because the industry, in the medical industry, they deal with everything very symptomatic. Yes. So if your one hormone is wrong, they give you a prescription for one particular thing, and then you forget about the rest. But the most important thing is in holistic lifestyle for you to take care of your body as a whole. So if one hormone is going down, that means the rest of them are losing balance too, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Again, Azi, you are making this very easy for me, because one thing that I was going to touch on is hormones. Actually, what the word means is hormones affect something else. And a lot of hormones are what are called precursors. So one hormone causes another hormone to happen, and so on and so on.
It's like a domino effect.
It's a domino effect. You're absolutely right. So there's such a beautiful interplay with hormones. And so if you're feeling one way and you go and you check one hormone and then you get a stopgap for that and then you don't look at the others, it's not really the foundational way. Mm-hmm. And that's why I like integrative medicine. That's why I like what I do. And that's why I enjoy coaching and counseling outside of just one modality, because, doing the prevention part of things, seeing where you have to go and find out foundationally what's wrong makes a lot more sense than just treating symptoms.
Exactly. It's everything.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's incredible.
Absolutely.
And going back to HGH, which is human growth hormone.
Human growth hormone.
Tell us, what is that exactly, and how can we know we are declining in that hormone?
Absolutely. HGH is actually one of the hormones that is most prescribed in clinics. So if you need a top-up of HGH, a lot of times they'll do it in the clinic. Human growth hormone is amazing. It's a precursor to DHEA. People hear about DHEA. It's a long name. We're not going to bother with a long name. No. But and remember I was saying, like you said about hormones, one affects the other, HGH affects DHEA, which affects or estrogen or testosterone and or cortisol more. It affects everything, but especially those. So as we age, when HGH starts to drop at 30, and again, usually there's a huge drop, and by the time you're 55 with that hormone, it's about a third.
What are the symptoms when you lose your human growth hormones after age 30? What changes in your appearance?
Sure. So looking at your body composition changes. So women, we tend to put on weight a little bit more around or midsection. And is it estrogen or is it HGH?
Yeah.
Well, the HGH affects the DHEA, which affects the estrogen. So that's why you go and you test absolutely everything. And so that's one major change, is what our body looks like. Another major change is on our skin. Sagging skin, or skin starts to get thinner. That is from estrogen. Estrogen really gives us that nice tightness when we're young, and we have lots of young girl estrogen coursing.
Oh my, I need some shots right now.
And we have that tight glowing skin.
Yeah.
When that goes down, then that shows up in wrinkles or skin's dull. It's thinner. If your skin gets thinner, then it sags more. Then you start to form lines. Estrogen is really interesting. So again, HGH affects DHEA, which affects, so everything affects.
Yeah.
So that's why it was such an important point you made about, us making sure that we're looking at the full picture and not just one hormone, because it's as simple as it is, it's highly complicated. And that's one thing with estrogen. Estrogen now is a precursor for some other things that we've heard, especially us girls. Hyaluronic acid is one, collagen, and elastin. Again, when we're young and we have the tight, lifted skin, no lines, estrogen does that. So that you will notice changing, as we get older.
After you hit 100, because we're still good to go.
We're still good to go, and we're doing what we have to do. We have some tips, on keeping all that hormone balance.
Keeping up with the hormones instead of keeping up with the Kardashians.
Keeping up with the hormones. I like it.
Hashtag that one too, right?
Yes. Keeping up with the hormones.
Good
by
one.
Azi, right here on the Azi Talk Show.
Oh my God, you're so sweet. But coming to HGH.
Yes.
A lot of viewers don't know out there, and I wanted to make it a surprise today for a lot of viewers, that a lot of celebrities, a lot of Hollywood actresses and actors, they use HGH hormones after a certain age, depending their lifestyle, when they need it. And what kind of backgrounds you have.
Absolutely.
Like I was reading so much about it.
Absolutely.
And I didn't know they use it so much in Hollywood too, because after you hit 30, you lose muscle mass, collagen, as you were saying.
Absolutely.
So it's a big hormone.
It's a big hormone. HGH is usually administered. It's an injectable, and there are different ways to do it. I have found that they being scientists, obviously, and pharmacists, etc., you can find different ways to carry the hormone, because a number one thing that I want people to understand, certainly your viewers, it's not what you take, it's what you absorb. So hormones can be taken uptake in the body, where it's actually in a useful form in various ways. So that's why you'll find that different hormones they're administered differently. You'll either get them injected, you'll get them in a cream, you'll get them in a spray. I actually found HGH in a spray. And I thought
injection was the most effective one.
Well, that's what they say, but sometimes people are queasy about injections. And does that mean that you have to be left out? I have to be left out because I'm queasy about injections?
I want to still be super hot when I'm 60 with lots of muscle mass.
Absolutely. So there's a spray form of the HGH, and they're clinicals behind it. Everything we're talking about, by the way, are things that it's tried and true. It's not an idea.
Yeah.
And so there's one way. But normally, yes, absolutely. That's why I said earlier, clinics administer it, but people can take HGH home and inject it. And you're absolutely right. It was the Hollywood secret for many years. Yeah. Not so much now.
Yeah, no. We all know about it.
Yes, we do. And that is why HGH affects so much. Or female hormones, what makes us so beautiful and young and hot, female estrogen. The males.
Yeah, the males. Yeah, we forget about our men sometimes.
I need to have a sip because,
yes, me too.
Thinking
Cheers.
about it.
COVID one.
That's right. Down at the bottom. Listen, we're doing it all right here. And we're looking how far apart. Before we'd be much closer.
Absolutely. I want to talk about how it can affect men also, mentally and physically. So let's go over that.
Of course. HGH, there's so much studies on HGH and specifically how it affects men, not just their physical, but that's a huge part. The effect is definitely the men getting that belly as well, that just seems to come. Even if they work out, it happens. And that can be a sign of so many other things that's going on. So HGH is huge for that. HGH, if your HGH decreases, which we all know it does, from 30 all the way down, that affects testosterone. So a man isn't making the level of testosterone that he used to make. So that affects whether or not he's virile, so that's his sexual prowess. And of course, that's a huge part of aging and how it affects you emotionally. One thing about the hormones and emotional, it's not only that we're not making those feel-good hormones for the brain because we're lower, for instance, on HGH, but it's also how we look and the changes that's happening in our bodies. So over the years, what I've found is a lot of men will actually have depressed moods because their libido is affected because their HGH has gone down. Yeah. So that's why it's so important. It is like the master hormone to get tested. Absolutely. Because that is a precursor. It's the hormone before the hormone before the hormone. Right?
Oh my
God, hormone before estrogen and testosterone. And then cortisol is another arm as to how it really affects men and women. Cortisol is our stress hormone.
Stress hormone.
When we're low on HDH, cortisol increases.
And then testosterone goes down, and then heart attack comes up, and the belly gets bigger.
Absolutely.
Ladies, pay attention to your man, not only to your beauty, but your husband, your partner is extremely important. As much as women want to feel like women and we want to, feel feminine, it's important for your man to stay on top of things too. So if you see a lot of changes in their mood swings, in their sleeping patterns, weight gain, muscle mass, if you have someone in your family who's exercising so much and they're not seeing any result, as I spoke to my naturopath a few weeks ago about HGH, it definitely means that the hormones are imbalanced. And as Jenny, our specialist here today, was talking today, it's important to get all the hormones checked. Because sometimes when you go to your beautiful family doctor, with all the respect to all the doctors, they only do check on certain hormones. Yes. But it's important to look at your body as a whole and have the whole hormone panel tested for you to know exactly what's happening inside your body. And if you want a happy husband, do as I say. I got some secrets up my sleeve, right?
That's right.
Make sure the hormones are in place.
That's right. Yeah. That's absolutely right. And I certainly know what people need to ask for in order to get that full panel, that full testing. Because you're right. Sometimes family doctors, and of course, we absolutely respect them. And that's why I like integration, because you have the preventative side and you have the emergency side. Family doctors are really more on the emergency side. So if something happens, when something happens, absolutely. But until then, there are things that you can do with naturopathic doctors, different practitioners, and we all work together as a team. Now, in the world that we're in, everybody's understanding everybody more.
I love that. And I actually heard from the last episode I was doing with one of the holistic nutritionist doctors. She said that doctors, like MDs, are working with naturopaths.
Yes.
Like they started working
Absolutely.
together, exchanging prescriptions,
Absolutely.
talking about the patients. So you
Absolutely.
can have them both involved together
Absolutely.
to get the best result for you,
Absolutely.
right?
And that has changed. That changed. I noticed that change about 15 years ago when I was doing another type of, actually, it was hormone testing around breast cancer. And I was really involved in that. And it's called functional medicine. And it started in the States where a lot of medical doctors were now becoming naturopathic doctors. And then it hadn't caught on here yet. So, and then now it's amazing to see that we're all working together because it's really about you. It's about
God,
you as an
that.
individual.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. No, it's exciting and great. So I know what you ask for. You ask for a full panel, but sometimes you might have to, depending on the doctor, you might have to, just ask a little bit more because if you're younger, it's just not their standard. It's nothing wrong. It's just not their standard. But as you heard from Azi Talk Show, we want to take care of our men as well. It's so important that we make sure that they're also balanced as we balance.
Exactly. And that's how you avoid midlife crisis. We were joking about it before the show, but honestly, going through midlife crisis is not, I know it's been a slang language that has been used among all of us.
Right,
but
right.
it is real. Because as we age, a lot of hormones decrease, and
course.
it's important to be on top of it, and your man and people in your family, boys, girls, everybody's affected by all the hormones. So be on top of it, talk to your doctors. And another important things, Jenny, I wanted to say is that naturopathic doctors and medical doctors have different readings on the hormone panel, right?
Absolutely.
Did you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So there has been, there's schools of thought. I like that terminology. It's called schools of thought.
I like that, yeah.
Yeah, and basically one school of thought says A and one school of thought says B. And we say, which one do we believe? The good and that's why integration is so important. For instance, naturopathic medicine sometimes tests hormones via saliva and urine. And allopathic medicine, or just your medical doctor or general disease model medicine, tests hormone through blood. I have found over the years, and as I said, I've been doing integrative medicine now for about 15 years, but 25 years overall in all of women's health and men's health. Don't forget the men.
I know. Seriously, we keep forgetting.
Don't forget the men.
We're so into ourselves, we forget about the men.
Of course, we don't forget the men. But what I have found is that really a combination of all three is what gives you the best picture as to what's going on with your hormones.
So you need the blood test, the urine test,
and the saliva test. Now, we start, less is more, so we start simple. We go and blood tests are usually, the majority of the blood tests are covered. So, and now naturopathic doctors in Canada, and certainly I believe in the States as well, but they can also send you for your blood tests, and they have prescription rights here in Canada for sure. So you can get your blood test first, and based on the results, then maybe you want to go a little bit deeper, because here's why. In the blood, the hormone is bound, but then hormones get free as it goes through the body, and that's where the saliva comes in. So there's bound hormones, there's free hormones, and also upon excretion, you can see, especially also if you're taking hormone replacement, sometimes they want to see, is the body using what it should use, that uptake we talked about. So that's why there's this nice balance among the different ways you can get your hormones tested. However, simply just ask for a full hormone panel from your medical practitioner, and we start there.
Yeah, start with your medical practitioner.
Absolutely.
And if they only want to do one test, then you can go to your naturopathic doctor and ask for the more flowy ones, as you said.
Absolutely.
I remember the first time I did my hormone panel at my naturopath. We did a hair follicle test.
Yes, then there's the hair follicle.
It was amazing. I never heard of that. And then they did a saliva test.
Yes.
And then they gave me an orange bucket.
Take it home.
Actual bucket. And then you take the bucket home and you put your urine in there for 24 hours. And then they can do a very, very thorough test on everything.
Absolutely.
On your toxicity level, all the metals in your body, all the hormone levels that are disturbed by different things. So I was so happy. I was like, give me the bucket. I'll show you what I got.
I'll show you what's in me.
Yes.
You know, Azi, very glad you brought up the hair follicle test. Hair follicle tests, definitely you see heavy metals, but metals affect the hormones in our body as to whether or not we're using it effectively, we're making it effectively. So I am so glad that you're so well educated about this subject, because you've brought up all the things that you may have seen online and you're confused. Why do I need this test? Which test do I get? Etc. Everything ties into each other, but don't worry. That's why Azi does this show, to kind of bring in practitioners like myself to take the complicated, help to make it simple, and just be there if you have further questions, etc.
I love it. Exactly. That's why I bring the professionals, so we can get to the bottom of everything.
Absolutely.
Because everybody, when, especially the viewers watching right now, I'm sure they've been interested in holistic lifestyle. That's why they're even searching the channel. They always ask, what do I do? How can I get everything under the same roof? I'm so confused. They go on Google, they get different information, they watch celebrities. It's just so much information
so
out
much
there.
information.
It's just too much.
It is.
But the most important thing is talk to your doctor, get your hormone panel done, and CC your naturopath, because in a lot of countries, right? If your medical care covers the blood test for hormones, then they can CC the naturopath and they can see it in there. And the rest of it, of course, it depends on your insurance and how much your budget is, how much you want to spend. But I think it's worth every penny.
It's worth
to check your hormones. Because Jenny, I didn't know that, for example, when your thyroid goes down, your outlook of life changes. Absolutely. I didn't know that. When my naturopath told me, I'm like, oh, so the reason I've been dreaming bad stuff and thinking bad things all the time, oh, what's going to happen to my family, my kids, my future? He's like, calm down. You're not crazy.
Yes,
it's just your hormones are, out of place, because I had the twin boys.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about cortisol and how does stress affect your beauty. Let's talk about that.
Absolutely. And it sounds counterintuitive. How can being stressed affect my beauty? But stress usually shows up in the cortisol hormone. And again, HGH affects cortisol. It's a precursor, so it's the hormone that comes before cortisol, along with the others we talked about. You don't sleep well. You worry. You have racing thoughts that really make no sense because you're stressed. It puts you in
right here, I swear to God. My cortisol level, I did a live blood analysis a few days ago. Right. And they said my cortisol level was so high, because, we're doing the show and life and business and work and mommy. And she's like, oh my God, the reason that you're overthinking and cannot sleep is because your cortisol level.
Cortisol.
So tell me more. I'm so interested. Tell me more.
Well, again, cortisol, what happens is essentially your body is in fight or flight, which we've heard. So your body is in that stress response all the time. So if it was back in the day when we had to go and get our food, you'd be out there looking for food thinking that lion is going to get you. But that's how your body's feeling. Now, how does that affect us today? Well, it affects us because it shows up in different ways in the body. It can affect heart, liver. It can affect absolutely every organ system. But certainly mood would be the number one way in which a cortisol stress response shows up. So you really want to make sure you bring your cortisol down so that your mood is heightened, number one. But it also changes body composition, weight. And as we get older and all these hormones decrease naturally anyway, with the cortisol increasing, that causes us to gain weight in certain parts of the body, specifically abdominal weight, etc. So again, we really want to make sure that we keep our hormones balanced, so that we don't have those types of things happening, that we keep getting deeper and deeper into sleeplessness, because that's going to age us. Sleep is so important. We all know that.
Your beauty sleep, right? You want it tight, sleep properly.
Absolutely. And so that's why cortisol is such an important hormone. Now, there are lots of things that we can do about all of this. There are many things that you can do with replacement. We're not going to talk about that.
No, we'll talk about it in a whole different episode because it's a whole different thing,
It's a
right?
whole different thing.
A few weeks ago, I took a family member of mine to see a live blood analysis
Yes.
and a holistic nutritionist
Yes.
and a naturopath all in one place here in North Vancouver.
Yes.
And we were talking about my family member having lots of psoriasis on the skin because we checked every doctor you can find, infectious disease,
Yes.
Dermatologist,
Yes.
regular doctor. And when they did all the tests, they said, is your cortisol level?
It's incredible.
I was shocked.
It's incredible.
Are you serious? They're
Absolutely.
like, yeah, we did a whole bunch of tests. Your other hormones are a little bit off balance, but your cortisol level for my family member was so high. That's why the skin was reacting. And a lot of people out there who have psoriasis and eczema, they don't even get informed about the fact that sometimes it's just your hormones causing your
Absolutely.
skin, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's an arm of medicine as a practitioner. It's called functional endocrinology, and it really studies how does the hormone affect the body. It's simple. It's not to an endocrinologist, which is the top doctorate in it. But I studied and followed functional endocrinology. And one of the number one takeaways that I think your viewers should get, especially from your experience, is to have your hormones checked, and all of them, not just one. Because as you said, there were so many different things going on, but it wasn't that one, it was this, but you wouldn't have known unless you had a full panel. Exactly. So that's why it comes back to first figure out what's going on for you and your hormones. We know they're decreasing, we know they're changing over time, and your body will tell you, your body shows you in different ways.
Absolutely, yeah. Your skin is talking to you, your body is talking to you, so it's very important to listen to.
Absolutely.
So to wrap everything up for the viewers, tell me again the 5 main hormones you think should be checked when they do a hormonal check.
Absolutely. The 5 main hormones, of course, your estrogen, testosterone, progesterone. Estrogen and progesterone are like bookends, primarily for us girls. You definitely want to check your HGH. And you also want to check pregnenolone. Now they're doing a lot of talk about pregnenolone. Pregnenolone affects cortisol. Absolutely. And so that is a huge area of study for that. So definitely those, and definitely cortisol. Cortisol comes up a lot because it affects stress. It's the main hormone that measures how is the body stressed. And the body shows stress in many ways. Weight gain, sleeplessness, wrinkles, skin eruptions, many different ways.
And losing elasticity in the skin is a big deal, right? When it comes to that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And, again, we're talking about a holistic health show, and certainly being beauty and maintaining your beauty as we age, inner and outer beauty, and certainly keeping that elasticity in our skin is so important for us to feel good.
Absolutely.
Get that feel good hormone.
Absolutely. And speaking of elasticity and skin, I know you're launching your incredible line, which is made of plant stem cell, right?
Absolutely.
I'm so excited.
Yes.
I saw the samples. I can't wait to try it. Tell us a little bit more.
Absolutely. It's made of plant stem cells, pardon me. That's something that you can get. Anyone can get it. Plant stem cell base cream. And there's another side, however, you'd have to go through your doctor for this, and it's hormone-based. And it's amazing to keep that elasticity in the skin and just help us feel beautiful as we age.
Amazing.
Because, we're all aging.
Yeah, and we need some help. We all need a little bit of help.
We all need a little bit of help.
Thank you so much, Jenny. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming to the show. Your expertise means the world to us.
Thank you, Azi. Thank you for having me.
And for all of you, we have 25 giveaways from her beautiful skincare line that I cannot wait to try because it's plant stem cell based and usually has to be prescribed by doctor. But the first 25 people who email Beautiful Jenny, and we will have the email information at the bottom and in the description, you can contact her, get a 15-minute free consultation and coaching about your lifestyle, your beauty, and your health. and free products. So email her as soon as possible to get that. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Is there
Azi.
anything else you wanted to add?
What I wanted to add was that thank you for doing this.
My pleasure.
And really showing the interplay between hormones, beauty, and aging.
Absolutely. Yes. Take care of your hormones, you take care of your beauty. Thank you so much for tuning in. Subscribe to our channel, comment below, and follow us on social media. My name is Azi Monjezi, and don't forget, you are too blessed to be stressed. Have a good day.